I already know, guys, when people are doing the elbows, that I'd say 80 to 90% of them are doing it incorrectly as far as their form. They think they're doing it right, but they're doing it incorrectly. And in today's video, I'm gonna show you the subtle habits, bad habits that people have when they're doing elbows. All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. My name's Chris. Welcome back to Sicat Kickboxing Club. And today, I'm going to be showing you the bad habits that people have when they throw elbows, okay? But first and foremost, if you like these videos, please like this video and actually subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so yet. Also share this video with anyone that wants to learn the art of kickboxing or wants to undo those bad habits of throwing elbows. And also, I also run a podcast. You could get a lot of value out of it. It's a martial arts self-improvement podcast with high-level martial artists, from practitioners to hobbyists. I'll click the show link down below. And also, everything you need about this channel or the podcast, it's on chrissicat.com. Join the email list and be a part of the community. So, this is gonna be a part of my bad habits series, right? Like undo your bad habits series. Because when you start off with bad habits, like as humans, we actually identify problems easier than what we actually do good in, right? So I can name you like a million things that are like wrong with me, like my back kind of hurts, or you know, like, oh man, I spilled coffee on my day-to-day, and then it's magnified. So just so that it sticks in your head, I'm gonna be talking about the bad habits that we do and how to undo them when throwing elbows. So here we go. The first one is going to be overreaching on the elbow, okay? And what I mean by that is that you have to, here's an analogy, like here's a good way to kind of remember these things, is that you want to hide behind your weapon, okay? And this isn't just for elbows, it goes for everything pretty much. Your punches, your kicks. So what I mean by that, hiding behind your weapons, is far too often, if we think we're out of range, we often lean too much, right? So if I'm throwing an elbow, and especially for elbows, okay? I can't like exaggerate this enough, okay? Most people will actually lean. Like they'll over lean to where their head goes right in front, almost going in front of their attack, which is the elbow, okay? This is huge for self-defense too. So for people that want to learn self-defense, this one you got to pay attention to. So when we hide behind our weapons, we want to literally be behind our weapon. Remember what I was telling you about the jab, right? If you can touch them here, right? If the person's right here and you could touch them, you can hit them anywhere, right? I can hit them with this, I can hit them with this, I can kick them and all that. But elbows are a little bit different. You literally have to be in close quarters. So it's kind of hard to gauge that distance, okay? It's different from just, say, like I said, throwing the jab, and then you could hit them anywhere, right? With kicks, with punches. Elbows are different because they're a lot shorter range. And the problem is with elbows, although they are very, very powerful, and quite frankly, I have a lot of videos on them because they're my favorite thing to use because they're so destructive and they're just so useful when someone comes up to you, right? And then like you don't start freaking out. You could just boom, boom, boom. You have close quarters. Like you don't have to back up and actually punch someone. You could get them from right here, and they're the most devastating weapons that you could use. That's why I love to use them. But the tricky part is that gauging it, right? So depending on your length, depending on your size even. So I'm a little bit on the shorter side. I'm 5'5", so which means even with punches and elbows, I have to be like really, really close, almost like face to face close to hit him with the elbow. And again, what I found out is that even if someone thinks they're close to him, right, and then they could put an elbow in, they mismanage their distance, okay? Meaning that they think that they're close enough to hit them with the elbow, but they're really not. So what happens is that they tend to lean too much, right? They'll overextend. They'll go, oh man, I can't hit him. And all of a sudden they'll go like that. Like they'll almost lean over like this just to reach the other person. The problem is with that is that number one, you're messing up your technique, right? That's once you overextend, and again, I like to say never. Like there's some aspects that you can overextend, but it's very, very rare because it puts you in a vulnerable spot, especially with elbows. Man, I can't emphasize that enough because now you're really, you know how there's the red zone, right? Like staying in the pocket of things right around here. Like say, this is the red zone. Man, you're like in hot zone right here, right? Because like say in a street fight, they can headbutt you, even elbow, knee, and all that stuff. So yeah, you never want to overextend, even with punches, even with long range weapons, right? With kicks, you never want to overextend. So how you make sure of that is that, look, it's going to be hard to gauge the range. Like I can say, yeah, if you can touch him with the elbow here, then you can touch him anywhere, but that's a problem, right? That's a problem because you're now close to the opponent and you could get hit like with his elbow. With a jab, you could kind of gauge it back up a little bit, but when you're in that close proximity of someone, it's hard to back out because you have so much more like distance to back out, and by then they probably hit you with an elbow, or they could hit you with like a blitz knee, or they can just come at you with punches. So when you're that close in proximity, you're in, I would argue, the most vulnerable spot, right? Like you're literally right there in their face. So this is what you do. Just when you gauge, and this is gonna take repetitions, right? This is pretty much the only way that I've come to find out to figure out your range, right? When you maybe spar enough or hit a bag enough, you'll figure that out by just feel. Now, I hate to say that because by just feel just seems so abstract. Like you don't have a concrete way to, like a jab, to kind of touch this. You can do this, yeah. But if you're sparring someone, you're already in the danger zone. You don't have time to like range find your elbow, right? A lot different from the jab. So what you want to do is that with enough repetitions and with enough like hitting the bag, you'll gauge your distance depending on, again, your size and your reach. So for me, I have to be really, really close. Like I have to be this close to them, literally in their face close, boom. So I don't overextend, all right? That's the main habit that people have. That's the number one. That's the number one, is that people will overextend to try to hit someone with the elbow, where they'll miss that, now they're off balance, and then they'll put themselves in a vulnerable spot to get hit back and get countered with the other person's elbow, which is like really bad news, okay? I want to emphasize that. I've done it. I'm very, very guilty of it, and I don't want that to happen to you. I actually got sliced open because of it. Like as far as I overextended on the elbow, and man, that was a heavy price to pay. I mean, I'm here, I'm alive, but yeah, you don't want to get 12 stitches on your eyebrow because you overextended, completely messing up your technique and overreaching, okay? So again, the way to kind of counter that is just by repetition. I sound like a broken record by now, but repetition is king when it comes down to that. So practice on the bag, stay here, look, I'm gonna do the technique for you here in front of the camera one more time in different angles, okay? So what most people will do, they'll stick their head out, literally like a turtle out of the shell, right? Look, they'll go like that, right? They'll lean over. And then that's just, you're just susceptible to like knees, elbows, everything, every other attack that makes you off balance, right? And when you're that close, very, very dangerous. So what you want to do is, again, hide behind your weapon. Keep that in mind, okay? That's the analogy for today. Hide behind the weapon. So here we go. So look, you see that? Boom. I'm not over leaning, okay? Look, okay? You see? Nice and quick, okay? all right? Second habit that people make a mistake in, especially when they're starting, this isn't as bad habit as when you rep it out and then get to like the intermediate stages of your kickboxing journey, but it's keeping their fists closed when they're doing elbows, all right? I see this from time to time, and it's not as bad as the first habit, but I do still see it. So if you keep your fist closed, right, you don't have as much dexterity. That's number one. You don't have as much dexterity because look, right, you're limiting yourself, right? You're like kind of blocking the range that you could go with your elbow, okay? And the thing is that with elbows, they don't need much of a swing, right? They don't need like this powerful, like, kind of like put all your hip into it. That's why I like them so much, because they're so devastating even with just slight moves in your body, right? Like, yeah, you still have to move your hip, like my videos, look it back if you forgot, or take a look at it, run it back. But when you transfer your hip to your shoulder, you're initially doing the same thing. So with the elbow, since you're so up close and it's such a hard part of your body, you don't need that much power, right? So, boom, boom. That's all it takes. That's literally all it takes. And what happens when people make the fist is that, again, they'll try to do this, and then at times they won't even reach the guy's face because they're blocking their own way. And remember, guys, anytime that you're throwing like punches, okay, don't be stiff. Like, that's why I'll have my hand with MMA gloves, I'll have my hands like this, or even in boxing gloves, I won't close my fist all the way, okay? That's very, very important, all right? Because it just mitigates your power. So what I like to do, and I know we're getting to punches, but I'll get back into elbows in just a second. I'm just using this as an example. So what I like to do when throwing punches is that I'll keep my fist open till I actually am ready to like hit the guy or make an impact or reach impact on like the guy's face or wherever I'm hitting him, right? So I'll open my hand, and then, only then, when I'm about to hit him, I'll close it and boom. So I guess it's kind of like the concept in there, what I'm trying to make the point about the elbow is that it's limiting. Two things, when you close your fist, you're less loose on the elbow. And like I said, the elbow doesn't take much of a swing. It doesn't take much of your body because it's such a hard part of your body, right? Like boom, boom, right? And when you close your fist, you're kind of stiff, right? You can feel it. Do it with me, right? When you close both your fists, you can feel it. Like, it's nice and tight around here. Like you're limiting your movements. So that's what I see a lot when throwing elbows. So now the resolution to that is, well, just simply open up your hands, right? Just open up your hands and then do this. And I'll show you, this is a huge deal. You think, a lot of people think it's such a small, like detail, like, okay, well, that's it. All I have to do is open my fist. What difference is that gonna make? Well, I'm about to tell you the biggest impacts of what it does. So number one, it keeps your face protected. I've said this time and time again, broken record or not, I don't care. It keeps your face protected. So look, when you're going through an elbow like this, okay, look, here, if you're going down, you're protected. If you're doing a horizontal elbow, look, boom, and then you're coming back, right? You're protected. If you're doing here, they still have room to hit you. Now, I know it's small details, guys, but I know you guys, man. I know that you guys are repping this out, and I know you're getting better by every video. So you're gonna be pretty intermediate pretty soon, right? In no time, if you're really taking this seriously. So the small details like that make the biggest difference. So here we go again. Look, here, look, I'm protected. Boom, boom, right? You're protecting yourself. Look, here, and I'll do it front elbow. Look, here compared to here. Oh, look, my face is now exposed, right? Like here, boom, okay? Like that. As long as you have these guys keep your hands up the whole time, okay? Like as far as with elbows, keep your fist open is what I meant, all right? Keep your fist open like here so you're protected, right? And then you're going back. If you have your fist closed, okay, I guess, but again, you're mitigating your power. But then look, if I go here and then I come back with my fist, look how much of my fingers will protect my face, all right? That's what I mean when I'm doing the front elbow, boom. And then look, if I go back here, it doesn't protect my head or my temple as much as it does with open fingers, see? Boom, right? You're protected the whole time. Usually this is how I stand in a kickboxing match anyway. Look, I'll do this, even with gloves on, I'll kind of open my fingers even with the gloves on because I'm just so used to it. Now with the MMA gloves, it's even more so. Like I'll just keep it like this. I won't go like this, like what people see in like videos and stuff like that. Like, you know, just going around stiff, and I'll kind of be loose. I'll have my fingers open. Why? Because I can protect myself. And then with elbows, look, boom, boom, protected, boom, protected, boom, right? So those are the two major habits. First one being the most important, okay? Because that extension, that overreach is a main problem that I tend to see with, of course, a lot of beginners, but even intermediate fighters. They'll just do it out of habit, and they don't even know why what the cause is behind that, right? Like they'll kind of extend, they'll run up to someone and blitz and then go, and then they'll stick their head out and all of a sudden they're exposed. When you get to those stages, and even in the beginner stages, that's the general rule, is you never want to be exposed to that. You never want to overreach, all right? Regardless of what attack it is, but especially with elbows. I can't emphasize that enough, okay? So again, one more time, I'll go boom, right? Boom, don't overreach, don't go boom. Don't overreach like that just to try to reach your opponent. If you miss it, who cares, right? Get back in your stance, who cares? At least you didn't put yourself in a vulnerable spot and you're not off balance, okay? Second one is keep your palms open because it will keep you protected, right? And you have more dexterity, okay? Look, boom, boom. You're not limiting how much you can move compared to a fist. Look, you could do it again with yourself. Make a fist, compare it, boom, compared to this, boom, right? You have more range as far as your movement, all right? So those are the two bad habits. There's some more, but those are the two important ones that I see that affects how you do elbows, and quite frankly, what builds like bad habits. So we got to undo those habits, right? And when you get the right technique down, you won't have to swing as hard, right? Especially when it comes to elbows. But anyway, yeah, so this is part of the bad habits don't do these bad habits series. And I hope you got a lot of value in this video. Again, follow the podcast. You could get a lot if you're interested in all martial arts, and even especially kickboxing, self-improvement. Follow the podcast. Great value on there. Also, go to chrissicat.com, join the email list, and you could find every information about me on there, okay? So yeah, I even blog. So I'll see you on the next one. Again, like this video. If you got value out of it, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you on the next one.